Hey, kia ora, Helen Browns here, coming to you live from Sun City in Arizona, and welcome to a new day, a new year, a new chapter in my life as we begin the Before the Dirt Nap adventures. Yesterday, if you were tuned in yesterday, you would have seen us having a celebration of me for doing Facebook Lives every day for 3 years, 1,096 days in a row. It was 3 years. And if you're trying to do the math and divide it by three, remember 2020 was a leap year. And then the math will work perfectly. So, welcome. This is a new day, a new chapter. It's a new month. It's the beginning of a new year for us. And yesterday we announced that we've founded the new company called Before the Dirt Nap. And what is Before the Dirt Nap? It's everything you want to do before you die. It's as simple as that. It's about how to live your best life now. Don't wait until you retire. There's so much out there that you can go and see and do. I'm having the time of my life living full time in an RV. If I don't like my neighbors, I can get out, I can just pack up and move. It's as simple as that. And some people go, no, it's not quite that simple. Yeah, when you think about it and you break it down, it really is that simple. I got my, oops, hang on, it's fully charged now. Got my little hot box thingy, my hot pop. This is what I get my Wi-Fi on. It's my little Wi-Fi device. I have that. It's got nationwide coverage. Wherever I go, I can get internet. What more do I need? I need the internet. I need my computer or my laptop or my tablet, and I'm good to go. Yeah, and occasionally my phone. I do need that for people to contact me. But so before the Dirt Nap was born out of an idea back in the day, back in the day being just a few years ago, when we termed the elevator pitch for our travel business at the time was we help you cross destinations off your travel bucket list before you take a dirt nap. And then from that, in September 2018, I was at the American Express Travel Professionals annual conference, and we got to hear from these guys, from one of the guys who, I forgot to look up his name again. Oh my gosh, he's up there, and he was one of four guys. They made a list of 100 things they wanted to do before they died. And there's all these, they've actually a YouTube channel and videos that you can go watch and see how they did some of their stuff. You can follow their website and all of that sort of thing too. I'm going to have to find that, and I'll put it in the description down below when I find it, because it's a really cool story behind it all about how they did some of the stuff that they do, like getting to play basketball with the president, and it was Barack Obama at the time. How they managed to get how that one occurred. They never thought it was going to happen, but they thought, don't know unless we try. So they tried. It took a while, but they finally got there, and they tell the whole story about that. But for everything that they crossed off their list, they then turned around. Every time they crossed something off their list, their next task was to go and help somebody cross something off their list before they moved on to another item on their list. It was a really cool story of how they did that. And it got me thinking about, I help people cross destinations off their travel bucket list before they take a dirt nap. What else could I help them with? And it just sort of started playing in my head, what are some of the things that people want to see and do when they're out traveling? People at that time were looking for experiences, and more than ever, they're looking for experiences, they're looking for adventures. And so on a flight from San Diego to Milwaukee, I met a friend of mine in the airport, and so we actually ended up sitting together. We're on Southwest, so we're able to sit together because you could sit wherever you wanted to. And so we're able to sit together, and we brainstormed before the dirt nap. And by the time we got to Milwaukee, we had Before the Dirt Nap adventures. We had a loose outline of it. And it so happened that my friend Casey, who you would have met last night if you watched the show last night, he was there, and we kind of pitched the idea to him, and he's like, go for it. And so we actually had a trip set up to leave in 2020. Well, we all know what happened in 2020. We had the global pause. And for those of you who don't know what the global pause was, everybody else calls it a pandemic. But to me, that's a negative word, so I call it a global pause, where somebody actually picked up a remote control and hit the pause button on the world so we could all stop, take a deep breath, recalibrate, reassess. For me, it was a great time to recalibrate, reassess, start trying some new things, because travel literally died overnight. So there went my travel business for the time. So I thought, I'm just going to put it on hold for now. I'm not going to do anything with my travel business for now. I'm going to look at other avenues and things. And in 2019, in January, Casey had asked me, because I had this frightening thing come out of the end of my pen that said, if I give up travel, if I was to give up travel, what would I do? And that pen went flying across the room because I had no clue that came out. It's subconscious writing if you've ever done it. It's kind of a little spooky what comes out of the end of your pen at times. And so I was like, and so I called in a panic. I called YT, who was my accountability coach. She said, call Casey. So I knew that he was traveling. So I sent him a text message. He was on the phone with me in less than 2 minutes. And he said, okay, I'm going to ask you one question and I want your initial response. He said, if travel was to go away tomorrow, what would you do? I said, genealogy. There was no hesitation. And he said, okay. He said, right, let's start with the game plan now of working out what it takes to open your genealogy business. And, what qualifications do you need? What do you have to do to open a genealogy business? What do you have to do to be a genealogist? He says, and start planning now. And then on April 22nd, 2020, we opened our genealogy business, Your Family Tree Detective, or now it's been renamed to Before the Dirt Nap Roots. So it's all about tracing your roots and your ancestors through Family Tree. And so we started that. And then travel has started to come back. But as travel was starting to come back, I was like, I don't want to do what I was doing before with travel. I want to do something different. I want to specialize in a certain area. And so I looked at things, like did a deep dive into the travel industry and started looking at things. And Before the Dirt Nap Adventures came back up again. I thought, we're definitely going to be doing Before the Dirt Nap Adventures, because we were marketing them beforehand as once in a lifetime adventures where we would never repeat an itinerary. We may repeat destinations, but we would never do the same itinerary unless there's an exception in here, unless we were on a land tour that had a set schedule or a cruise line. But anything we did within those realms, because there are times on cruises and land tours when you can do your own thing. So what if we included that for our travelers? We included some of the optional extras, put them into the thing. What if we did something before and or after the cruise or the land package to make it unique, to make it once in a lifetime? For example, we could, one of the things that we were looking at was the Galapagos. We were going to go into Ecuador a week beforehand, spend 7 nights in Ecuador itself, exploring the area. We were going to be up in the mountains. It was a gorgeous hotel up there where you get to go out and you get to spend time in the wild, learning about the natural beauty that's around there. This hotel is environmentally friendly. Then we'll go catch up with everybody down at the airport. We'd fly across the Galapagos. Now, the cool thing about the Galapagos Islands is that whenever you go there, you don't know the itinerary. You just know you're going to be sailing the islands for 7 days, because when you get there, the park rangers then tell the ship what day they're on what island, and that could change. And it's all based on the time of the year, the seasons, what's happening as far as nesting goes with some of the wildlife and things like that as well. Or if there's, if for some reason they have to close an island off. So things could change. It's very fluid. So if you go to the Galapagos, you may never see the same island twice, depending on what you're allowed to do. Then we were going to fly into Lima, Peru, and we had a whole 7 days there, including 2 nights up at Machu Picchu, where we were actually staying at a hotel that's like a 5-minute walk from the gates of Machu Picchu. So you'd be able to do, and we were going to do a sunrise walk and a sunset walk down to Machu Picchu. So we had that all set up, and then 2020 happened. Boom. So I thought, we could do that again. We could do something like that. We could even do something like one of the cruise lines has just opened their itineraries for a world cruise in 2024 or 2025, one of those 2 years. And I figured that would be a really cool thing to do a world cruise. It's a gorgeous cruise line. They're small ships. They take up, take up to 794 passengers. So they're less than 1,000 people, and you get to sail around the world. And the cool part about being a small ship is they get to go into ports that the big cruise lines can't get into. So we get to go into these really cool, unique ports. And you're not just a new port every day, you're actually staying for a couple, maybe a couple of nights. So you actually get to spend a full day in the area and maybe a morning or an evening, depending on when you come in as well. So there are times that you will be, some ports they do stay in overnight, but most of the ports are several day stops. And that's, sorry, I think that was left over from my shake. I'm sorry. It was a bit of a seed that got stuck in my tooth. I finally got it out. So, there's different things that we could do like that. And so I'm starting to look into stuff like, that as to what can we do with our adventures, where you get to live your best life now, and you get to be on a cruise ship or on a tour, yet you're still able to do the work when you need to do the work. And throw the term work-life balance out the window, because here we do not believe in that. We do not believe in a work-life balance, because it means for every negative thing, there has to be a positive to go with it in order for everything to stay in balance. That is not going to happen. I can tell you that right now. I work when I work, and I play when I play. The dog and I, we have our set times each day that we go for a walk, and she's sitting there with her ears up right now, turned backwards so she can hear me, because she's listening for that little cue that I am signing off so that she knows it's walk time. I'm just waiting for the temperature to drop a little bit. It got up to 102 today. So we're looking at different adventures we can do. We're also specializing, for those that don't want to go with a group of people, we're also specializing in Australia, New Zealand, and the South Pacific. I come from New Zealand. I've traveled most of the country, so you'd be getting firsthand knowledge of somebody who was born and raised in New Zealand. I've been over to Australia, but I've only done Melbourne and Sydney so far. Wanting to go back and do there's certain areas of Australia I absolutely want to go to, and I'm happy to go spend some time down there. And we could do, I've got plans for trips down to Australia that would incorporate, Great Barrier Reef, incorporate the opal mine, down in the opal mines. There's some really cool hotels that are built from caves and things like that, and there's even a cruise that you can do up in the Northern Territories. And so there's a lot of really cool stuff, and even going out to Western Australia and going to this little island where you get to meet the quokka. And if you don't know what a quokka is, you'll have to come with us and find out. But they're actually known as the happiest mammal on Earth, because they always look like they're smiling. So there's that's going to be coming down the pipeline with the Before the Dirt Nap Adventures. We also have Before the Dirt Nap podcast, which is what we're doing right now. We're doing these podcasts where we're going to be having guests come on as well. We've got health coaches coming in to talk about your health, because you can have all the time and all the money in the world, but if you don't have your health, then how are you going to be able to live your best life now? So we're going to be talking, and so they're going to be talking about different things that, that just things that people can do to help improve their health, and so they can go out and live their best life now. It's all about living your best life now. I'm busy getting into shape. I am now down since April 4th. I am down almost 19. I have released 19 pounds into the universe for people who need it, because whenever you release anything into the universe works in checks and balances. So when you release weight here, somebody has to receive it. So why not send it to somebody who needs to put weight on? And my favorite one's always to send it to the NICU babies that got to put weight on so they can go home and thrive. That's my favorite one to sometimes say, and just say a simple thing like, I am releasing whatever you're releasing that down. I'm releasing 1 pound of weight today, and it's going to these babies in the NICU hospital down the street, or some other place where they need to put weight on so they can get healthy, go home and thrive for their lives. We're going to be bringing in experts on telling your story, how to tell your story. Your story is important. You might think, oh yeah, I just live here, I don't have much to say. You've been through some stuff. Trust me, everybody in life has been through some stuff. They've been through hurdles. They've whopped up against those walls and had to find a way under them, around them, over them, through them, or take a different direction. But they've found ways to overcome those obstacles, have overcome those challenges. If you have been, everybody in life has been through some sort of obstacle. My childhood was spent always being the new kid on the block. My mother was horrified. She was telling me about my niece who was on her, she was 10 and on like her 6th or 7th school. And I just said, Mum, I went to 9. And she was like, you did not? I said, yeah, I went to 9 different schools. She's like, you didn't. And so I rattled them all off, and her response was, oh, what horrible parents you have. She didn't realize that with the moving around that we did, that, you know, it put me into a lot of different schools. Thankfully, we stayed in place for my high school. So I was in one place for my last year and a half of middle school, all the way through my high school years. So I was very grateful for that, to be able to spend in one place for my teenage years. But my elementary schools, I went to 6 different elementary schools. So, everybody has a story to tell. I was a victim of bullying, and I had to learn to stand up for myself. I was a bit of a tomboy. I was the only girl in my family. I was the only girl. I got 2 younger brothers, and so I spent a lot of time playing with them, and we played all the guy games. They weren't going to sit and play dolls and tease with me, and that's I still have my doll that I was given when I was like 3, 4, or 5, somewhere around that age. I got given a doll, and I still have that doll today. She's been through some wars. My brother at one point decided to give her a haircut, so she's got these little stubby bits along here, these little short stubs, but the rest of her long hair is still there and in place. Yes, that doll went through some wars. And so when I was at school, I preferred hanging out with the guys because I knew how to play with boys. I didn't know how to play with girls. I did learn. But my preference was to hang out with the boys because they seemed to have way more fun than what the girls did. You're going to see coaches in different areas, life coaches. There'll be we'll have business coaches and life coaches coming in. We're going to have experts with social media and marketing techniques and tools and ideas. We're going to have personal and business, anything related to personal and business. We're going to be bringing them in. We're going to be bringing in these experts for you to help you live your best life now. So that's what we've got coming down the pipeline. And most of the time we're going to be meeting at 6 p.m. Pacific time on here. And currently we are broadcasting to my Facebook page, the Have to Cruise Facebook page, and the YouTube channel. So you can join us in any one of those. Around 6 p.m. Pacific time is when we're going to be going live. And we're just going to be bringing you some really cool stuff. We're going to have legacy wealth experts coming in, how to plan to create a legacy in wealth that you can pass on to generation after generation. So that's going to be cool. That's going to be very cool to be able to do that. We've got the Discovering Your Genes, before the Dirt Nap genes, which is all about doing your DNA testing and finding out where you come from. And I just was on a genealogy class last week for a whole week, and we got a section on DNA, and I was like, oh, it's science stuff. I don't know how I'm going to do. But when the way that she laid it, I mean, we had a phenomenal instructor for the DNA thing, and she does a whole DNA class. And so I'm like, I need to get into her class next time because it actually made sense. And I was in the intermediate class for the class that I was doing, and it was a general genealogy intermediate level. And I was sort of like, okay, I actually understood what she was saying about DNA. And oh my gosh, I'm not as afraid of it anymore. And so now I'm like wanting to absorb more and read everything and get into learning more about the DNA and your ancestry and how you use DNA to help make connections within family trees. Because yes, it might turn around and say, oh, you could be third or fourth cousins. The DNA confirms the blood relationship, but the research that you do will help confirm the relationship. So the DNA will confirm the blood connection to the family tree. The research that goes with the DNA, so you got to use them together. You can't just use them separately. They have to be used together. So when you're researching and you've got somebody's DNA, and I know on Ancestry, 23andMe, and Family Tree DNA, those are the 3 tests that I have done, that they all do something different, but they all basically say, oh, this looks like it could be your second or third cousin based on the centimorgans. I had to learn about centimorgans. They're the little CM numbers. And it puts you there. And so it develops that blood relationship, but the research that you do into the tree will develop the actual relationship. because some of the times it says, oh, they're second cousins to you, and nope, they're actually first cousins once removed by the time you've done all the research that goes with it. So DNA is a tool that we use in genealogy to help establish, as part of the evidence that we use when we're establishing relationships and things. So it's really, really cool. That was the fastest hour and 15 minutes ever. In fact, she only went for an hour, and then we had 15 minutes of questions. It was awesome. We've got things like, let's see, what else have I got already set up for you guys? My essential oils. I love my oils. I sit here with I actually use doTERRA. I've got my phenol here. I've got myrrh on roller, which is really cool. I'm still learning about all my oils and the parts that they have on. There it is. This is my favorite one, Balance. It is really cool. This one here is for helping you stay focused. You still get the shiny object syndrome, but it helps energize a little bit, and it's really cool. And then I have peppermint. I love my peppermint. Peppermint, lemon, and lavender are my 3 staples, and those 3 together in the right proportions can actually help with allergies, which is awesome. And I have discovered through personal use that they also help with jet lag as well. And so that's through my personal use. So everything that I've learned on oils is based on my personal use and how it has helped me with my health and mood swings and that sort of thing too. And yes, you can do the right oils in a diffuser, and I actually have sitting on my desk, and every now and again you will see a little wisp of smoke come up when I have it in, but I have this really cool little portable diffuser, and this portable diffuser is big enough that it will fit in the cup holder of the car, and it is charged, and it's so you don't have to, you can charge it up, but if you need to charge it while you're driving, you just plug in a USB thingamabob, and it will charge it up. And it has 2. It has continual, and the top just twists off. No, it's empty. Citrus bliss. Yeah, citrus bliss. You just put water in there up to the max line. I put in like 3 or 4 drops, and it just sits here on my desk. And there's my little on-off switch. And if you press it once, it does continual. If you press it again, it does intermittent. And when it's ready to be charged, this whole thing here will flash red. It'll probably flash red because I don't have anything in it right now. But it flashes red, and I know I've got to put the charger in, or it's run dry. So I love my diffusers, and I can put that here, and it's personal. I also have a slightly bigger one that covers a bigger area that I have over on my kitchen counter, and that's for when I want to put it throughout the RV. So, and oils are great for, and this is another one of my favorite, Breathe, because we have a lot of air quality issues here in Arizona, and this is actually like a stick. It kind of smells like Vicks Vapor Rub, but it's all done with essential oils. And before we go out walking, if we've got air quality alerts on, which does make it difficult to breathe if you have breathing issues, I just get a little bit on the pinky and go here and here, and that is just enough for me to be able to breathe it in and keep my nasal passages. And if I feel a cold coming on, that thing doesn't stand a chance, not a chance. But sometimes I'll just sit here and just go, just to help wake the brain cells up. But yeah, if you put it just in the nostrils there, and then I can go to bed and go to sleep, and it helps keep the nasal passages clear at night. And if we're out walking with air quality and stuff, that helps. And then I have the Breathe lozenges that I will suck on as well that help just keep me breathing healthily, in a healthy way, but being able to take deep breaths when I'm outside and not struggle with some of the air quality issues that they have. So what else are we bringing you guys? Oh, Legacy Wealth. Yep, we're doing that, and we've got that with we've got a really cool place that you can actually order on a monthly basis silver. If you've seen some of my earlier podcasts, when I get my silver, I do unboxings on those, and I collect 1 ounce silver coins, and you can actually get on a monthly subscription where you can have it send you either one ounce coin up to 10 1 ounce coins every month, and you can alter the however many you want. So that's a really cool one too, and that's our Before the Dirt Nap Wealth. So yeah, we've got lots of stuff there to help you live your best life now. There's stuff, and we're going to be bringing you experts on businesses and how to how to have other forms of income coming in instead of just a job. About starting your own business, having sideline businesses and everything else, because you should always have income coming in from different sources. So if one source dries up, you've still got other sources that you can rely on and lean on and things like that as well. You should always have multiple streams of income coming in. So if one dries up, it doesn't matter because you've got more coming. You've still got stuff coming in. So we're going to be bringing in experts on that as well. And we're even going to talk about how to go mobile, how to live a life on the road. I live full time in an RV. Currently, we have been on this particular site for just over a year. We haven't traveled on the road since April of last year, but that was a personal choice with how things were, because we did travel in 2020 and we did have some challenges along the way where some states were closed, their campgrounds were closed because they were not considered essential. We had some states that were open, but your minimum stay had to be 14 nights and you had to be self-quarantined during that time before you could move. And I'm like, but I'm just passing through. Even if you're passing through, they wouldn't take a reservation less than 14 nights unless you had a letter that stated that you were an essential worker. And then you could stay one night and move on the next day. So, yes, that was a bit of a challenge with our initial plan of traveling. That got the kibosh put on it real fast. We ended up with 9 weeks in 9 weeks in Orlando, which was not planned at all. We were only meant to be there a week, and we ended up being there for 9 weeks because we got locked in Florida. But it was a great trip. It was an awesome trip. We got to meet some amazing people. I'm still friends with some of the people that I met with in that campground during that 9 weeks. And it was a blast. And we got to meet people on the road as well, and got to meet some people in person who I've only ever known virtually. It was a great trip. Totally loved every minute of it. But when 2021 came and some of the traveling bans started getting lifted and states started opening up and all of that, everybody was wanting to get out of town, and it was filling up the campgrounds really quickly because they couldn't fly overseas. So let's do domestic trips, and campground tents were flying off the shelves. RVs were driving out of sales yards. You couldn't rent an RV. There was a lot of challenges with getting bookings into some of the campgrounds and things. And I was just like, I'm just going to sit here. I have a lot of stuff that I want to work on, a lot of projects. That was when we started the genealogy side of the business and getting that. So I was glad that I was in place during that time, and I'm still glad. And I made the decision this year that I'm going to stay in place for another year, and because I don't have the urge right now to move on. When I'm traveling, I'm on the road, it's sort of like you get to a place, it's like, I kind of like it here. Let's stay here an extra couple of days, and I can do that. And other times it's sort of like, I really don't like this place. We're moving tomorrow, and we'll do that. Things like that. So we have that freedom when we're out on the road, and all I needed was my little Wi-Fi box. I could connect, I could get online, I can do my meetings, I can do my work, because everything I do is all remote, can be done electronically. Can be done online. I guess you do need electronics for it. I'm getting tired, you can tell. So this is the first day of a new chapter with our new company before the Dirt Nap. And I'm just excited to see where this is going to go. I have a plan. Casey knows my plan. YT knows my plan. They know what my goal is to accomplish in the next less than 10 years. I said, in less than 10 years, this is where this company is going to be. And they're like, okay. And that was because Casey got me to stop looking at things under a microscope. And like he says, when in doubt, zoom out. He says, I just want you to zoom out. So rather than zooming out, I took a leap backwards and went from doing a 10-foot look to doing probably about a 10 to 20,000 foot look at everything. So like I said, I took a big leap and came up with this plan. And looking at the plan, I'm still like, oh my gosh, I can now see how this is going to happen. I can see how this is going to happen. And I was looking at the mind map last night after we did the live last night, and I was like, oh my gosh, I can actually see how this is going to work and how it's going to happen. do I need to make any? And I was looking at all the little bits and pieces for one particular area, and I was like, do I need to make? And I went through everything, every line that was on that mind map for that particular portion. I went through everything, and I thought, nope, that is exactly how it is going to be. The only thing I have to decide is this, and I'm not doing that right now. Excuse me. And so then I went and looked at another portion and went through all the lines and then go, yep, I agree with, oh, hang on, we could do this over here, and typed it in. All right, so now we've got that. So we're complete on that. We're complete for now on that one. Things will change. We know this because I'm me. I know that things will change. That we can do the best planning we ever want to do. But guess what? There's forces out there that are larger than us, and they have a better sense of humor. And you can call the force whatever you want to call it, whether it's God or Buddha or Hindu or whatever it is. You may not even believe in anything. Just know there's a universe out there, and the universe has its checks and balances. Whatever you want to call it is completely up to you. Whatever your belief is completely up to you. But there are forces out there that kind of have a sense of humor and go, you've got all that plan in place. Yeah, that ain't going to happen. Or yes, it is going to happen, but not the way you think. And so I know that this is the plan that I know of right now. And I know that that stuff's going to happen where it is going to get adapted. It is going to get changed. It's going to get improved. It may end up going in a completely different direction. Who knows? But that is the plan for now. And that's what I'm following for now until I get signs to move it in a different direction or keep going along this path. You're doing good. Sometimes I get it right. Sometimes I don't. Most of the time I don't. But anyway, so a new day, a new chapter, a new year, and I am super, super excited. So I hope that you enjoy, that you'll tune in to the podcast we're going to be doing on a daily basis. And especially when we bring our guests in as well, we're going to be bringing in some amazing, amazing guests. So without that, I think that is everything on my... Oh, hang on. What are you doing on August 10th and 11th? On August 10th and 11th, we're doing a Networking Riches. It is an amazing... If you want to learn how to network, or if you are already good at networking and you want to improve your networking skills, come join us. And if you use the link that's in the description below, HaveToNetwork.com, that is my personal link inviting you. And if you use that link, you get to come as my guest for free. So come join us. It is going to be a phenomenal event. It starts at 8 o'clock in the morning Pacific time and goes through till, I think it's 2 o'clock Pacific time. But it's on a Wednesday, Thursday. In fact, it's Wednesday, Thursday next week. It's going to be amazing. And it's all online on a Zoom. It's going to be a lot of fun. I've been going to these events since they started in 2014. I can count on one hand the number that I have missed, which is, I think it's 3 or 4 that I have missed. I kind of have a half one in there because I was sitting when Brad was in hospital in August of 2017. They had Networking Riches on, and while he was sleeping, I would be on with my noise cancelling headphones on, watching Networking Riches. So I was there, I was present there. But when a nurse or a doctor came in, I had to take the headphones off, put everything on, just put everything aside, dealt with the nurse and the doctor, dealt with Brad with whatever, or if Brad needed something, dealt with whatever he needed, and then I could go sit back and watch. So it's kind of a half one. So it doesn't count as not being fully there, but I also wasn't not there. I was there for about half of it. I don't know. But so yes, I do have a half one, and it's an awesome. It really is an awesome event. So if you want to come as my guest for free, just click on the Have to Network in the description below and register, and you will get sent the links and everything that you need to log in. And it's going to be awesome. But we will see you guys back here tomorrow. I better check my calendar to make sure I have. Yes. No. It's going to be 7 p.m. tomorrow night. 7 p.m. Pacific tomorrow night, because I actually have a workshop on that goes till 6:30. So I will be coming on after that because, well, I don't know if that will finish right on time or if it'll run late. So I'm just saying 7 p.m. Pacific tomorrow. Join us back here, same channels, and we'll go out, have a super fantastic, sparkling evening, and we will catch you guys back here tomorrow. Hei konera.